Hi, Murph here for Sonic State and Amped. Today we're looking at the Line 6 Amplifi 150. Here it is. It's quite a nice looking thing, a bit like a kind of new version of an AC30 or something like that. Well, it's a bit of a strange thing in itself, in that it does quite a few different things. One as an amplifier, and as a modeler, and as a stereo, I guess. So looking at itself as an amplifier, I wouldn't say it's a kind of like any kind of pro rig. It's more something you'd use in your bedroom, or in a garage jamming with mates. It's got preset sounds stored in there, but of course it's not just the regular guitar amp. It's got this stereo aspect to it. So we'll take a look at the amp itself. As we said earlier, it's a little bit AC30-like, a modern sort of version of that. And on the top, we've got your guitar input, we've got a drive, bass, mid, treble, effects, reverb, and a master volume control. And then on the top here, we've got tone and we've got a tap tempo. So you can scroll through. You've got 4 preset sounds which you can scroll through. The one thing about this which makes it a guitar amp and something else is it's got a Celestion speaker in there, guitar speaker, and then it's got 4 drivers in there, 2 mid-frequency drivers and 2 high-frequency drivers. So so that's the difference of it. So it's quite a it's got quite a spacious spread of sound. The other thing about it is you can connect your iOS device to control any of these things and edit these sounds and other things that we'll go into. It also works as a pretty pokey Bluetooth speaker, so you play anything from your phone or your iPad and it can really blast it out quite loud. Also, you can connect your computer up to it and do the same thing. So we've got 4 preset sounds in the amp itself, and they can be controlled from your iOS device. So I mean, basically you download the app, the Amplifi app, and here we can see the 4 preset sounds that are already loaded in there. The first one's kind of distorted. Another one. To a clean sound, American clean sound, as it's called. Ambient delay. So those are your basic sounds. You can adjust any of those sounds on your front panel, add in more effects, less effects, and then you can store each of those presets in the amp by pressing and holding the tone control. The DSP is in the amp itself, not in the app. The app just controls what goes on with the amplifier. Also, it's not compatible with pods or your floorboard HD500, etc. So you can't kind of share patches between the two. It's just, this is its own thing and it does its own thing. Yeah, it's easy to set up. You just turn on your Bluetooth and you're connected. So you can play anything using Bluetooth with anything. You can connect with the amp. But you can only get the Amplifi app on an iOS device. Okay, so here's the app. We'll go in and here are the preset sounds. We'll just go back to the home page and we'll take a look at the editor. So we've got one of the preset sounds loaded in, and we'll look at the editor for that. So it's all obviously, if I want to take the drive down from this, there we go. So it's all, very simple to use. your effects lying on top. So if I want to choose delay, then my delay comes up. I can adjust the tone, the mix, the feedback. If I want more feedback there. Etc. So we've got, and there's a whole list of, so if I want delay, I can go into delay, and I've got a whole selection of different delays that I can use. So you can do that with distortion, and the stacks and stacks of things in there. Lots of different amps, British amps, American amps. Here we've got British amps, a whole selection of Marshalls. There's loads basically. You've got clean, American, British and high gain. And there's, you know, there's about sort of 20 of each of those. So there's stacks of different amps, lots of options. So all standard stuff. We've seen that kind of thing before from line 6 with all the amps and the effects and the combinations of all that, which is a great thing. But the new thing about this with the amp and the app is that you can tone match. So you can download a song from iTunes, and the library that's in the app will then recognize that tone and find it for you, or something very similar. So we're just going to go and have a look, check our music library, choose something out of there.
Oh, don't play it.
So we can't play that, unfortunately, due to copyright, etc. So that's obvious what we've got here. We've got some Hendrix tones. So something that is similar to that particular tune. We've got like a little wing rhythm, and it gives you Purple Haze solo, Wind Cries Mary solo. So there's lots of different tones there. So here's the little wing kind of sound. So it's got that kind of, you know, that obvious Hendrix, you know.
So where do they live? Who makes these sounds?
Well, you can actually do them yourself. So you can create your own sound, as we saw in the editor. So you find, you know, you put your effects on, whatever you want on there, and then you just go to publish, and you fill in a little list of style and genre, etc., and then send it off, and it goes into the line 6 library, into the Amplifi library. So we'll take a look at a few more sounds. Going back into the library, and we'll check this pretty recognizable kind of sound.
Sabbath.
Here we go. So you know, that kind of thing. Like I said, it'll find the song exactly the song. This is the Rover, Led Zeppelin. Here's the kind of chord sound. They're pretty, you know, they're pretty, there's something that's not, you know, it's not like wow, you know, but it's an approximation of that sound, as it is with them all, you know. I mean, if you get an AC/DC sound, it's not like that is it, but it's an approximation of it.
Does it always work?
Well, we've had a little bit of trouble logging in, and or you might get logged in and then you want the associated tones and they don't turn up. So we've had a little bit of trouble with that, but we've got there in the end. So yeah, you can jam along with whatever tunes, which is a great thing about it. You can play the tune, press on the master volume, and that'll set your volume for the song that you're playing. You leave it for a couple of seconds, and then it will revert back to your guitar, the volume of the guitar. So you can set your volume between the two, which is quite a neat little thing, I think. It's only iOS devices, which is a real drag really for if you haven't got an iOS device. So they, you know, Line 6 are kind of cutting out a massive amount of users, you know. So, and also even with the iOS device, what I noticed is, you know, not everybody is going to have the latest MacBook or the latest software to be able to use it all. So my MacBook wasn't compatible with my phone, so everything's got to be upgraded. So it's never straightforward. It's $379 for the 150 and it's $299 for the 75, the smaller version. The other thing to mention is that although it is a 150, that's spread between 5 speakers. So it's not like a 150 watt guitar amp. But as a stereo, it does knock out more than enough volume.
So could you gig it?
Yeah, you could gig it, but you know, in a bar or I don't know, yeah, I guess you could gig it. I mean, thinking about it, you know, a guitar, an amplifier, basic, you've only got a couple of tones anyway. So I guess you've got 4 presets, you have got different sounds. So yes, you could. It's not a pro rig. It's definitely not a pro rig, but for something in your bedroom, using at home, I think it's great. And you can tone match, so you can get instant Sabbath, Zeppelin, whatever sounds. You know, there's a massive library, so you can call upon those sounds instantly, which is a real bonus, I think. And you can have a lot of fun with that. Also, it doesn't have to be just you, the guitarist, that uses it. It can be used in a home as a stereo. So there's a lot of things that you can use with it. The downside is, if you're an Android user, then you're limited with what you can do with it. So that's a shame. But as a thing in itself, I think it's quite cool and it's very usable. And for the enthusiast, I think you can get a lot out of it.